this team, I mean, you look at just both sides of the ball. Do you see those moments where you can say, you can go back during the week and say, this is where we see those moments where we either let the game slip away or we kind of had those 2-3 minutes where, you know, if we can bear down in those 2-3 minutes, we can really change outcomes of games.
I wish.
Yeah.
You know, the issue is that there's not a trend. You know, I think we may be a couple players away or at certain spots, but there's not a trend where you can say, okay, this is what the issue is that's causing our lack of red zone production, our lack of points, or giving up points. It's somebody different on each occasion, you know, not doing their job. And so our theme this week, starting with the head coach, you know, I'm responsible for all of this, starting with the head coach to say, okay, all that I need to focus on and worry about is my job and the things that I can control. So that's what the head coach needs to do, and the offensive coordinator needs to do what the offensive coordinator needs to do, and the defense coordinator and the left guard and the holder and the snapper and the kicker and the return man, you name it. Whatever role you serve in this organization, you need to focus on what your job is and controlling that and doing that to the best of your ability. And that's what will eliminate the, oh, it was this mistake here, and then, oh man, it was this here, oh, he didn't do this here, which is added up to the, you know, the season that we've had, you know. And we're not as far off as our record is. You know, we just got to find a way to put it all together as a program, as a team.
What about Dartmouth, of course, firing on all cylinders. I think it's a Friday night game.
It's a Friday night game.
It's a whole new routine.
Sure. So it's actually in a good way. We played Colgate on Friday night earlier this year, but it's a away trip on Friday night, so that'll be different. And the biggest thing that I look to with Dartmouth is what I see them do, and I've said this about Harvard before, is both of those programs went through some really, really tough times, some really, really lean years, multiple lean years. And they made a decision that they wanted to build a championship program. It doesn't happen overnight. Buddy Tevens retook the Dartmouth job in 2005. He was 0-10 his fourth year, and then 6 years later he's playing Harvard for the Ivy title. And they just did it methodically, and they're really good. And they'll be good for a while because of the way they built it. And the same thing Harvard did under Coach Murphy. I think Cornell had a 10 or 11 games in a row win streak over Harvard in the 80s into the 90s, and in the mid-90s they hired Coach Murphy, and they just methodically built it. And he was after 7 seasons, he was a 34 and 37 lifetime, and they just kept with him, and the last 14 he's been off the charts. So what I see in Dartmouth is it can be done in the Ivy League. It unfortunately takes more time than it does in the SEC or the ACC, where people want the fix in year 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it may be. So that's what I see with them, and that's the bigger long-term view. The short-term view of the game, I see it as a tremendous opportunity for our program to play on national television, for us to get that chance. If we put it together for 60 minutes, we can play with anybody in our league, and that's what our task is. And who better to do it against than a team that's you know, widely considered as one of the better teams in the league after a place on a Friday night to put it together.
Just a couple of the key kind of things that you look for from Dartmouth that are going to be the biggest challenges for you guys to try and overcome them too.
Yeah, they got the best player in the Ivy League on offense. There's no question there. Their quarterback, Galen Williams, you know, he came into the league and it was more about his ability to run the football, and he's just done a tremendous job as a passer. I think you know, when they played Penn, he was 92%, 23 of 26, or 24 of 26. He was unconscious. So he's the man. There's no doubt about that, and it all goes through him. But there's certainly a lot of weapons there. Victor Williams at receiver, 2 really talented backs, a very strong line, and then they got a defense that absolutely is relentless. You know, they might have. You know, the Penn defensive lineman's pretty darn good, but they might have a defensive player in the league too. You know, they had obviously on TV last Friday night the goal line stand against Harvard. Harvard's offensive line has a couple of pro prospects, and they stopped them 5 times from the 1 foot line. So these guys can play. There's no doubt about it. And but again, therein lies the opportunity, because I believe in our guys and I believe in our team, and we have to control what we can control. And if we can do that and put it together for 60 minutes, it's going to be great football.